Okay, so effectively what we, as first one, what we'll be doing, we'll be creating open charges. Open charges is usually a deposit. Yeah. Once the tenant is created, in the summary page you will see that a deposit of 81,000 is required for that tenant. Yeah. This is all done by the leasing team. They decide on what is the required deposit, and they will pre-populate this field for you. Yeah. One option how you can do the actual to post a charge, to actually charge the tenant that amount. You see deposit billed is currently at nil, so you need to update it. How you do it? You click on links and you go to opening charges. You click on opening charges and the system shows to you, okay, these are the charges I have in the system. Yeah. These charges I need to exclude because these are periodic charges and we use a different function to do that. But in this case, we just say, okay, for this, I want to create a charge only for this. Then you select post month. This is a different Almajas waterfront, so the current period for that property is 11/16, but we are posting in current period, which is January 17. So what I will do, I will exclude everything I don't want, and I select the correct post month and create batch. Once this is done, the batch is created. Creating a batch doesn't mean it hits the GL, because for the transaction to actually hit the GL, you need to post that batch. You see the system gives you a hyperlink that you can click on and it will take you to a charge. Firstly, just a quick overview. We'll cover it when we create ad hoc batch, but here essentially is the header. So the system validates that the number of items and the total amount of items you declared equals the entered details. Yeah? Here I can click on this edit button and go into that charge and review that charge. Yeah? So I do that, I click, but it's auto-generated. I don't need to check it. Chances are it's correct. So what I need to do, I need to post. And this is why I'm showing this. It's pretty hard to find where do I actually post a charge, because you are not posting individual details, you're posting the batch. So you need to go back to the batch header. There is this batch hyperlink, you see, unposted batch 32. And it allows us to go to that batch header, and as well it tells us that the batch is unposted. So what I do, I click on unposted batch, it takes me to the screen, I can post. I hit post, click OK. Now it affects the GL. Yeah, it affects the GL and it affects the subledger. Okay, I can close it. Now when I close this, I can refresh this lease and I will see that now deposit required is 81,000, deposit billed is 81,000. Yeah, good to know. So the next step is, if I want to come back at any point in time to a charge that I created, I can always review a charge. This will sit under charges, charge function, find charge batches. You go in here, my tenant is 113. Tenant is the major record that you will be dealing with. So your payer, all the charges, all the receipts will go to tenants. So you need to kind of, understand the concept that it's tenant code. I can type in first two letters, it will show how to find that tenant. So let's say I don't remember what's the tenant code, but I remember it's PDC. I type in, here it is. Now, very often people come here, they click, they don't see anything. Why? The reason is batch type is set to open, and we posted that batch, so it's no longer open. We need to select all and hit find. Here's our batch. We can come back to that batch at any point in time. We can't save, we can't post, but we can always review it. Now the batch has hyperlinks. We can click on tenant and it will take us to the lease. Yeah? We can go to the property, we can go anywhere. Again, now this batch is posted. If I want to return to the header, I click on posted batch. I'm back at the header level. So this is in terms of creating open charges. Now, how do you create a charge that is not within the open charges? Because there we had only 82,000 and periodic charges. Periodic charges, it's not ad hoc because it's repetitive. For those, we use ME periodic invoicing. But if we want to create another charge, let's say for grand opening, marketing fee, leasing team tells us, create a charge. We want to charge them $20,000 for a grand opening. How you do that? You click on charges, charge function, create ad hoc charge batch. First option, click on it. Now here you need to specify how many items you are declaring and what its total value. This is used to control in case you have within the batch more than one charges. Yeah? But in this case we are using one for 20,000. By the way, instead of typing 20 and 3 zeros, you can put 20K. It will put it as 20,000. You can do the same with million. Total items, I'm declaring one. I hit save. And now this detail section appears with charge invoices. To add, just hover over this thing, and which is we call magic paper because it adds stuff, and press the mouse button. Yeah. Now you are creating that from scratch. Nothing, no automatic function feeds. We just need to specify what are we charging. And the first charge to is our main handle, which is tenant. So we can, if we remember the code, we can start typing 113. Here it is. Property unit, it will be populated automatically. I don't need to worry about it. I just need to specify who is the payer. And then I specify the due date. Due date will actually be today's date. But in our case, tenant is starting on the 22nd. So we might change it to 22nd, yeah, if we want to. It'll go here, yeah. But post month, again, this property is not the one we were using. It's just one of the leasing people created it. So we need to specify that post month is a 117. You will not be able to post to prior periods, so it will always be prior period. Yeah. The next thing, we need to specify detail line. And here we have a concept of charge codes. Charge codes links to the GL account. But instead of remembering a GL code, you need to just remember the charge name. And we were told it's marketing grand opening, yeah? So I come in here and I start typing marketing. And I have marketing fee, which is a recurring. Usually they charge it on a monthly basis, yeah, for the term of the lease. But this one is marketing fee grand opening, which is one-off. Yeah, so I select that charge code, and once I tab, you see account, AR account, everything is already taken care of, you know. Then I need to specify the amount, which is 20,000, and from to date. As this is one-off, I can specify we're charging it from 22nd to 24th, because for 2 days they will have that grand opening, whatever it is, yeah, marketing. Once this is done, I hit save. The system tells me post month is outside current operating month, again, because this is test system, but I can override it, you will not be able to, yeah. So in this case, total declared and total entered on the invoice itself is the same, as well as the number of items. At this stage, I can post it. Once I post it, it hit the GL. Yeah. Now, let's talk about AR analytics. Yeah. So AR analytics is reporting that allows us to find how much tenant owes us, what he owes us for, do we have any prepayments, do we have any unapplied PDCs for that tenant, yeah? So all of that will sit within that AR analytics function. You click on that AR analytics and you have a number of reports. Let's start with aging summary. We specify our tenant, which is 113. 113. PDC. Okay. So you see, why am I in trouble? I'm entering it, it's not showing. What the hell? You know, why? It should be. The reason is it's not Al-Kasbah. You see, because it specifies the property, it will be searching for the tenant only within that property. It doesn't exist, so it doesn't return any values. That's why filters on reports are very important. So what I need to do, I need to clear it and then redo the exercise. Oh. And magically it appears, yeah? Okay, now I hit display, and in my aging summary, I will see that currently they owe me, us, 101,000, yeah? And they owe us from 0 to 30 days. If we move to as of month and we want to see in February, that will be moved into 31 to 60 days, etc. So it will show you the aging, yeah? How much they owe us and how good we are collecting the rent, yeah? Now, this report is good, but it shows us only per property, yeah? And per tenant. But if we do, it doesn't show us the detail. What are the charges? If we click on aging detail, it will show us actually all the charges, yeah? So you see it has the same table, 0 to 30, 31 to 60, but here it shows us charges, and we can actually drill into these charges, and we don't even need to drill. We have a lot of information here, yeah? What was the charge and, you know, what it relates to, etc. Now the next thing is, the next report is delinquency, my favorite. Why? Because it will show you PDCs and prepayments. If we click on this report, we will see that currently they owe us 101,000. Yeah, this is what we just saw. But it provides additional information. It provides whether we have any prepayments that we didn't apply to charges, and whether we have unapplied PDCs. So in this case, we don't have neither. So it means that they owe us, and we don't have anything holding against them in order to somehow rectify, you know, the amount. The next report is tie out by property and person. Property is too generic, but I will still show. So effectively, and here the system tells me I must specify at least something. You can't run it for the database, yes? So I can specify my property, which was empty, I believe. Yeah? No, that was different. Let's look at Al-Kasbah. So this one will tell me actually AR balance, prepayments, and TR balance. This is test system, so there is a difference between AR balance plus prepayments minus TB balance, yeah? It doesn't tell us much, it tells us there are exceptions, yeah? So what we can do, we can drill further and run this report by person. In this case, it will show us all the tenants, their AR balance, any prepayments held against those, and the ledger balance. Here we have a difference of 91,000, yeah? And this is for this tenant. So we can go into financial analytics and see what was going on. You see this tenant had a lot of transactions. It's a test tenant, so something was stuffed up. Yeah? Posted, pre-posted in the wrong month, whatever happened. Now, we can also run the report, which is receivable summary. Receivable summary, we have to specify period here. So very often people click receivable summary, try to run it, these are empty. I will demonstrate. And by the way, I want to see my tenant, and I will specify 113. Again, why is it showing? Al-Kasbah, yeah. So I need to do 113, and I hit display. And in here, I will see the charges and receipts and the closing balance per tenant. Yeah, you can run it for all your tenants within a property. Yeah, and that's why it's primarily used. By the way, this is MW, no, MWF, the property code. And the last one will be receivable detail. If I run this one, it will show me tenant, but with charges. Yeah, so effectively all these reports in a different way slice and dice receipts, prepayments, and charges against the tenant to figure out how much he or she owes us. Yeah. So what we do then, we already created our ad hoc charges. The next step is creating PDC receipts. Yeah. Maybe PDC receipts will be created before the opening charge, maybe after, but in this case we assume we already created a deposit charge and we already created, and after that we create PDC receipts. So unlike charges that actually affect our AR and income, receipts affect our AR and cash. Yeah, so it's credit AR, debit cash. Now, the important thing is that PDCs in Voyager do not have any financial impact until they are applied to charges. So, we need to provide our tenant with a receipt that they gave us checks. Yeah? So, we start with entering PDCs and then we generate that report. Okay, but this tenant, and usually the tenant will come with, with checks. They already know what they have to pay because they see the contract. This is test system. I don't really know how much that tenant owes us, and to match the scenario, I just need to figure out how much we are going to bill them. Yeah, and this is a good function because you can run it at any point in time and see what is the billing schedule. So under charges in invoicing, ME periodic invoicing is used to bill the tenants all the recurring charges. Yeah? So for example, rent. Rent has to be recognized on a monthly basis for a year. Let's say you're billing for a year, so we want to recognize it up front. We want to run a function, all the posting is done for us. So this is the function that we are using, but now I'm going to run that function not to generate the charges, but to see what the tenant is supposed to pay us. So what I would do, I would specify my tenant, but instead of, so I need to specify the invoice month, which is the posting where the unearned income is going to be credited. But I don't want to create a batch, so report only, I need to select report only. Yeah? In this case, again, I need to remove property, otherwise I won't see anything. And then I hit submit, and the system shows us, okay, marketing fee is 10,000 per year. Baseline rent is 280,000, no, 300,000. Paid in quarters, 75,000 per quarter. If I scroll to the right, I will see for the first quarter, this is the first quarter. By some reason it showed at the end. So from 22nd of January to 21st of April, 75,000, and each quarter 75,000. The last one is service charge. Yeah, I know because the charge code says service, which stands for service charge. Actually, there is a description here. So now I need to create PDCs. Firstly, deposit, which was 81,000. Then I need to create 4 checks for 75,000 paid quarterly. And then potentially I might have 2 separate checks for 10,000 and 15,000, or a tenant might pay it in one check, or they might combine it with deposit and grand opening. So there are different permutations here. But what is important is we have a function that easily allows us to do any kind of scenario. This is in receipts, current post dated receipts. at current post dated checks. Okay, so let me just plan ahead. And what I need, I also want to see the charges. Besides it, we already posted charges. Yeah, so I will go into AR analytics, and in here I will see. Okay, in addition, I need to charge them 101,000 plus this. So a receipt will, the PDCs will probably be for the total. Yeah, 325 plus 101. So what I do here, I come, I specify the payer. Payer is our tenant, 113. Selected. All the property building unit will be populated automatically once we save it. Now, first check date. First check date will be today's date because that's when I started billing. Amount. Now, the amount, what the system here is doing, it creates records with the same amount for the number of checks that you specify. So in this case, the most common check that we have is 75,000. So for me, it's better to enter here the amount as 75,000 and then correct all the ones that have incorrect amount in them. Yeah. So this kind of pre-populates a table for me. So I select the most common check. The next step, check number. Usually tenant has a checkbook, they pull it from the check, and usually they are consecutive. If not, you change them. But other than that, if I select check number 01, the system will consecutively increase it. 1, 2, 3, etc. Now, number of checks. In this case, let me do the following. Let me have separate checks here. So there will be 6, and this will be paid in one check. Yeah, so in total we have 7 checks. So I specify we have 7 checks, but how many checks per year? Checks per year will be determined by the most frequent check that we are receiving. In this case, we have 4 checks that are annually, and 1 check that is paid quarterly. Yes, so this one will be paid for the whole year, this one for the whole year. These ones are one-offs, you know, so it's 1 check. But this check is repetitive. So again, to simplify and pre-populate the data, I will say 4 checks per year. Yeah. Now I put the name on the check. In this case, it is the tenant PDC. And I can select a bank. I can put notes, so Emirates NBD. I hit submit. So the system creates 7 lines for me. Yeah, and these 7 lines, some of them have correct information, some of them we need to change. So which ones have correct information? This 75,000 is indeed a valid check. The next check on the 18th of 4, 75,000, valid check, because we have a check with that. The same happens in 07 and in 010. But now these checks go into next year. They will be paid next year. This is what the system generated based on the information that was provided, but we need to change it. So firstly, we have check for 10 and 15,000. So what I would do, I would just make this 10. This one I will make 15. And the last one I will make 101 to 50. 101 to 50. Yeah, okay. Now the dates on these checks, because they will be paid up front, it will be the date of the first check. So what I can do, I can copy this and just override those. If that check has a different check number, I can change that. Now what I do, if everything, I'm happy with everything I see, yeah, and we also tried auto-matching, that I'm not going, well, no, I will cover. For example, in this case, we cannot auto-match because this check has two separate charges with separate charge codes. But this check, we know it's marketing. So if I use this code in here on the marketing, I will just specify charge code here. And service charge I will specify in here. And then I can also do those things. I can save it. These will be auto-generated. Yeah, so I hit save. And OK. Now, here straight away, the system creates a receipt for us that we can give to the tenant. We click on this hyperlink in the new window. The system opens. This is good to go to the tenant. Yeah, just put a signature. That's it. Yeah, we can also run this report. That just shows us what we've created and what is the status and what is the batch ID. Okay, so we close all this. Our PDCs are done. Yeah. If at any point in time we want to come back and review those PDCs, we click Receipts, Current Post Dated Checks, Review Current Post Dated Checks. Be careful. These checks include applied. I have not applied anything to that tenant yet. So they are all unapplied, and the tenant is 113. I come here, I review. Here it is. Yeah. Now in this case, I can delete. We've done this. I'm not going to cover it. It's very simple. You delete and then re-enter it effectively. And until you apply that, it's a very easy thing to do. Yeah. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to actually run the billing function. Yeah, because we created these PDCs, and we can apply this 101,000 to the charges because we have them. But the rest, the rent service charge, has not been billed. We want the system to automatically create those charges for us. What we do, we click Charges, Invoicing, and E-Periodic Invoicing. Click here, select our tenant. But now, instead of report only, I will select Create Batch. Hit Submit. Okay, you see, previously these were empty. Now they are populated and they are hyperlinked. If I click here, it will take me to what we've already seen, charge screen. Now, how to post charge? Yeah, if we are happy with it, we need to go, click on the hyperlink and posted batch, and we can post it. Yeah, once we post it, it hits the GL. And in addition to that, we can now apply our PDCs. Okay. So that's pretty much it. Now what we need to do, we need to apply our PDCs. By the way, let's run analytics report. Just that delinquency. We're not going to go into all of them. We'll just run this. What we'll have? They currently owe us 126,000, but we have unapplied PDCs for the same amount. So total owed is 0 because we just need to apply the PDCs. Actually, another report is aging detail for the same tenant. We click here. What do they owe us as of this date? They don't owe us everything. They owe us only portion of 426,000. Why?
Aging.
Yeah, because of aging. Because 75,000 doesn't exist yet. It's in the future. And that's why that function does everything correctly. It applies it and allocates it correctly. But if we go in 04 and rerun this function, we will see that now they owe us that 75,000 for April in 1 to 30 days and 201 in 91 to 120 because it was supposed to be paid prior quarter. Kind of, again, everything is hyperlinked. You can go into each transaction. Yeah, but now we realize, okay, we looked at delinquency report. We realize, yes, they have PDCs. We just need to apply those PDCs. What we do, we click Receipts, Current Post Dated Checks, Apply Current Post Dated Check. Here we need to specify the date as well as the tenant. So the tenant is fine, but the check date will be in sometime in January. Yeah. So what I do, I click Submit, and we have only 4 that will be valid in January. The rest are April, then July, and October. But effectively, because for these 2 we specified charge codes, we can auto-allocate them. We can create the receipts actually automatically. What we do, we exclude the ones that don't have the charge code, and we click Post function. There is no, okay. So that property, that's why I was asking all the leasing to do for Al-Kasbah, but they didn't listen. So I need to quickly create a bank account for this property. Just give me a second. So the system is essentially saying there is no bank account, so I'm not going to post it, because where are you going to receive the money? Yeah, so this one will be okay, property, and here we specify the GL account. In our case, we'll be using this one. And we need to specify the currency. Okay, and that's all done. So now we do the same thing. And what the system did, the system created 2 receipts. They're both unposted. Yeah, if we drill, we will see. So this one applied it to exactly marketing charge code. And if we go back, again, to go back, where do I go? I click on Unposted Batch. I go back here, I see the second one will be against service charge. And indeed, it's service charge. So everything was auto-created. What I do, I just post it. Now I will have a mixture of applied and unapplied PDCs. Yeah? So what I will do, I will go to Current Post Dated Checks, Review Current Post Dated Checks, and here I can select unapplied or applied. If I select unapplied for this tenant, I will see the rest, how many? 5, and in applied I should see 2. Yeah, the ones that I applied. Now I have another 2 PDCs that I need to apply to charges. The thing is that at that point in time, I didn't know the charge codes when I was entering, so I need to manually allocate it. How do I do that? I click Receipts, Apply Current Post Dated Checks. I don't change anything here. I rerun the report. I see 2 lines. Let's apply the second first. The second for 101,000. So what were they paying? They were paying tenant deposit and marketing. Yeah. So what I do, I apply. This is the only thing you need to do. You need to put the amount that they are paying against charge code. If they were paying one of those, I would apply it to one of those. Sometimes this function, I will just show you. Yeah. I select here. Now it's fine, but sometimes it puts 0 in there, so you need to actually remove it and repopulate it. It's a little bit annoying. But that's what you do. You just apply it. That's all. This is how a receipt is created. You don't need to specify. It might be complex when they partially paid and stuff like that, and they overpay, whatever.
Yeah, but mistakenly, for a thing, I didn't click the P, so applied. What will happen? I can save it or not?
If you didn't apply it, like this, no, you can't, because effectively there is nothing to save. Does not match the total. Yeah. So the system has a lot of validations. You see, so it puts 0. I move next, it puts 20,000 in here, but I still need to remove this. Or you see, I pressed down and applied it to the wrong one. So what I need to actually remove it, go down, and then go up. And in this case, it applies it. Yeah? So a little bit of a trick. So now I can save it. Okay? And it's applied. So you see the system just opened a new window. Just make sure you don't have the pop-up blocker. If you have pop-up blocker, you will be, where is it? What's going on? Yeah, and in this case, I can pretty much post it. Okay, so let's do the last one. The last one, we click Distribute PDC. And we need to select which one were they paying? The first of the charges. They're all equal amounts. I press here, that's what I call it. You see? So I press here, I remove it, and I go up. Yeah, save. Or you can manually type it, it doesn't matter. Okay, I need to post this one as well. Posted, done. So now if I rerun this, I don't have any more checks to apply within this date range. If I move to April, yes, I will have it there. But essentially, let's run analytics, AR analytics, and see how that delinquency report is coming out. Okay, so what we have currently owed is 225, which is 3/4 for each 75,000, and unapplied PDC is exactly the same amount. The rest is now, it's not owed because it was allocated. Yeah.
If I will select one property, for example, 8, it will show all the unapplied PDCs. I don't want to select that particular tenant because I want to know the month-wise PDCs.
Yeah. So this report will still show you by tenant, but you will have at the bottom you will have your totals.
Okay. I need to know the charge to whom and the PDC for particular period. It can be. From here itself I can charge.
Yeah.
This is what I want because
Yes.
I don't want to select. I don't want to remember the that tenant there is a check. This tenant this much.